Welcome to T-Boys TV. We're back again with another live stream. Obviously, it is EFL Championship game week 44 predictions plus rescheduled games. Obviously, there's 3 rescheduled games next week. So yeah, obviously I will get into them as well. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Hopefully, I don't have no issues today, like I usually do on Championship predictions live. Where it likes to freeze and do all that nonsense. So yeah, the first game is Birmingham City versus Blackpool. Now, Blackpool, I think with the results they've had recently, they're more than likely going down now. They're very poor away. They haven't won any of their last 5 away games. They haven't even, drawn their last 5 away games. They're taking on Birmingham City, who did get an impressive win midweek at Millwall. I did actually watch that game. And they frustrated Millwall. And, they're starting to get a decent load of results going. Obviously, they did lose their game before that, but that was to Sunderland, who were obviously trying to chase, for the playoffs. And before that, they were getting some decent draws and that. Birmingham at home, they should really be the favourites in this one. To win this, and I reckon they will. I think Blackpool are down now. I can't lie. I'm going 2-0 Birmingham. I'm going to back them to get a clean sheet. Both teams do like a 2-0. Well, Blackpool like to lose 2-0 away, and Birmingham like to win 2-0 at home sometimes. So, yeah, that is my prediction for that. So, yeah, let's go through your predictions and comments. Long time no see, says Chris. Yeah, literally. Hanno reckons it's time for Sheffield to drop points. Obviously, they don't play this weekend, but obviously they're playing a rescheduled fixture, which obviously we'll get into a bit later. Spencer's only 2 minutes late. This is new improved. I know, mate. I know, right? Big up to yourself as well. Chris has gone 1-0 to Birmingham, so a narrow win for Birmingham. So, yep, there we go with that. Moving on to the next game, Bristol City versus Rotherham. Now, Bristol City, I would say since that Middlesbrough game have been a bit poor. Obviously they lost 2-0 to Watford. Cornet scoring an own goal after, getting a goal and assist the game previously. They just haven't really been the same. They're taking on Rotherham. He obviously did get an impressive 2-2 draw against Burnley. Obviously, Burnley are not playing like they did towards the start because obviously they've already got promotion. But again, they could have officially won the title there. Also, obviously, they're trying to chase the points of the championship record. Bristol City at home is what gives me confidence that they won't lose this game. But I don't think they'll win this game. I'm going to go over 1-1. And for Rotherham, that's good, in my opinion, because it's a point, safer from being relegated. But I do think they'll stay up anyway this season. Like I've said numerous times before, they are usually like the Norwich of the Championship, where, obviously Norwich in the Premier League, they always go down. Rotherham are usually that in the Championship, but I think this season they'll stay up. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in that one. Chris has gone 2-0 to Bristol City. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough with that. And then moving on to the next game, Cardiff City versus Stoke City. Now, Stoke City have dropped off after having a lot of really good results, like beating a lot of the teams that were, fighting for playoffs and that, slapping up Sunderland away, beating Blackburn at home, slapping up Coventry away from home. After that, it's not been so great. They lost to West Brom, they lost to Bristol City. They've had a few disappointing results, and the one that stands out is obviously the one the other day, losing to bottom of the league Wigan at home as well, not even scoring. I did have a feeling Wigan would get some sort of result, but I didn't think they'd quite win the game, but they did. Cardiff at home. Cardiff, I do think they'll stay up. Obviously, most of the season they've been, floating just above relegation zone. Obviously, they have been getting some really impressive wins. Obviously, the last game they slapped up Watford, which obviously I like to see. So, yeah, I think Cardiff will win this one. I do think it'll be a tight game, though. I'm going to go 1-0 Cardiff. I'm going to go Cardiff to edge it against Stoke in that one. So, that is my prediction for that. So, yeah. That is that. Chris has gone 2-0 to Cardiff. Yep, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. So, yeah, moving on to the next game, Coventry City versus Reading. Now, obviously, Reading, their last 2 results have been draws against, arguably, you could say, well, maybe not Burnley when it comes to on form right now, but one of their best sides in the league, drawing to Burnley, and then, well, the best side in the league, shall I say, and then obviously the draw to Luton, obviously one of their best teams on form, haven't lost since February, and that was to Burnley. And yeah, Reading, as much as it was a point, it didn't mean anything in the end in the sense where obviously QPR got a draw as well, so it still meant Reading were in the relegation zone. Taking on Coventry. Coventry obviously trying to fight for playoffs. Their game was mental. 1-1 with Blackburn, but a goalkeeper scoring right at the end of the game. Coventry at home in this one. The thing that's going to back me with a Coventry win is Reading are the worst side in the league away from home. So despite getting them 2 results they've had recently, they have been at home, whereas this one is away. I do reckon it'll be tight though. I'm going to go over 1-0. I'm going to go over another 1-0. I'm going to go 1-0 to Coventry in this one. So that is my prediction there. Chris has gone 2-1 to Coventry. Yeah, fair enough. That's probably a popular prediction for this game of what I've seen people go with. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 to Coventry in that one. Now, moving on to the next game, Burnley versus QPR. Now, QPR, like I said, they did get that decent draw, you would say, against Norwich. It's annoying because I said 2-1 Norwich. I thought they'd edge it. Burnley, obviously, if they win this, they've won the league officially. And I do think in a certain sense, they were waiting for this game because it's at home, win it at home, that sort of thing. And this is a very favourable game to win. It's not like it's going to be a team, in my opinion, that's going to frustrate them and not, help. Well, not helping, but not win the it's going to annoy them and not get the result Burnley want. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I think it's a very favourable game for Burnley. Obviously they haven't lost at all at home this season. So yeah, I think they'll win the league in this game, and I reckon it's going to be a very emphatic scoreline. To be honest, I'm going with a 4-0. I'm going with a 4-0 to Burnley. I think they're going to absolutely tear them apart. So yeah, as much as QPR obviously fighting to stay up, which is mad after how they started this season, I just think Burnley will win very emphatically. So I'm going 4-0 to Burnley. Chris gone Burnley 3-0. QPR gone for me. Yeah, it's got very good chance still of going down. Them or Reading for me is probably that team third. It looks like Huddersfield will stay up now. Obviously, they don't play. Even in the rescheduled games, they don't play because obviously they're meant to play Sheffield United. But obviously, Sheffield United are in the semi-final of the Cup. So, yeah. Moving on to the next game, Hull City versus Watford. Now, obviously, Watford took that very heavy defeat, which I thought was hilarious, to Cardiff, especially after going 1-0 up. In that one, Hull, they went 1-0 up in their game as well. Both teams lost 3-1 during the week. Did actually get the Middlesbrough Hull game spot on. And it was very similar to how I actually predicted it. Hull would play all right, but then Middlesbrough quality would shine through. And that's how it seemed like it was. Most people would probably back Hull in this one because they're at home. Watford look like they're not going to get the playoffs. They'll probably sack Wilder. How Watford moves with managers. I'm going to go over draw, though. I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. I'm going to go over 1-1 draw. So, yeah, that is my prediction for that. Chris has gone 3-1 to Hull. Interesting. So, yeah. Moving on to the next game, Norwich City versus Swansea City. Now, Swansea have not beaten Norwich away since 2018, I think it was. And that was a crazy game. That was a 3-2. Norwich... obviously both teams, obviously Swansea's chances are slimmer, but they could actually still get the playoffs, which is mad to think. And the weird thing is, I did say at the start of the season, didn't I? I said if there is that team there's always a team who you don't expect to be in the playoff battle that will be there, that will be fighting. And I did say I think it will be Swansea. They could still get in to the playoffs. They're taking on Norwich. I'll say Norwich. Don't think they'll make playoffs this season. I think they'll just miss out. And I'm going to go for the exact same score it was last time when Swansea beat them away, which is ages ago. I think it's 2018. I'm going 3-2. I'm going 3-2. Funny thing is, the last game for Swansea, I said 0-0, and it ended up being 4-2 against Preston. So, yeah, I'm going with a 3-2 away win for Swansea. Wilder is honest, but I'm sorry, he's the one who should be fixing the mess on the pitch. Don't like him personally. He never takes responsibility. Yeah, fair enough. I hear what you're saying to a certain extent. Norwich 3-2. Okay, you've gone the other way. Interesting there. So, yeah, that is that. Moving on to the next game, Wigan Athletic versus Millwall. Now, if Wigan don't win this game, they are down. It's official. They are down if they lose this game. I think a draw and obviously a win will be all right. They're taking on Millwall. Now, Millwall have had a bit of a drop-off recently. Obviously, they're still in the playoffs. But if other teams get certain results, they might not be in the playoffs come the end of the weekend, as far as I'm aware. Trying to have a look. Just have a look at that. Oh, not all the way down the bottom, mate. So yeah, look at the gap between Middlesbrough and Millwall, right? Blackburn, if they won, they'd go above them. Yeah, a lot of teams could go above them. West Brom, Coventry, if they win. Even Sunderland, because they've got a better goal difference. They'd be on the same points, Sunderland, but still, do you know what I mean? So it's not looking good. Even Norwich, if they won. So Millwall might not even be in the playoffs come the end of the weekend, which is obviously very interesting if that's the case. Wigan, like I said, if they lose, they're down. The thing is, like I always say with them, especially in recent weeks, they don't usually get battered, but their quality's just not quite there for the Championship, I feel. But with how Millwall have been, it being at Wigan as well, I'm going with a Wigan win, mate. I'm going with a Wigan win. I'm going 1-0 Wigan. Honestly, I'm going 1-0 Wigan, mate. Still think they'll go down, but I think they'll win this game. Chris has gone 2-0 to Millwall. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I just think Wigan will do it, especially this little drop-off Millwall have had. So, yeah, that is my prediction for that. Moving on to the next game, the 5:30 game tomorrow. It is a derby, this one. Do remember the reverse fixture early on in the season. And that was the early kickoff. And Preston absolutely battered Blackburn away from home as well, of course. 4-1 it was in the end. Blackburn obviously trying to get playoffs. Preston will obviously want to try and frustrate them. Preston still have a chance of getting playoffs as well. Preston, they've improved on their home form. A lot of the season, they were down there, the second worst home form, and they're now up to 19th when it comes to home form. Blackburn, very inconsistent, as we know, did get that draw against Coventry. Obviously, they'll be frustrated with, when they conceded a goal. Obviously, Coventry, another team around them as well. I'm going with a Preston win, man. I'm going with a Preston win. Preston usually play right against the teams higher up, even though Preston are up there as well. I look at when they played Luton, it was 1-1. Even like their derbies, they're up for them as well. Their derby against Blackpool, they slapped them. I know Blackburn, obviously, better team than that, but I'm backing Preston to win, mate. I'm going 2-1 to Preston. Big up Alex in the chat. He says, Mill. No worries, mate. I hope that went all right. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that is that. Moving on to the next game. This is the Sunday game now. West Bromwich Albion versus Sunderland now. Again, two teams fighting for it. This is how I see this game, right? If there is a loser of this game, I think they won't get playoffs. Whoever loses. West Brom tend to have a good record at home against Sunderland. Sunderland, I think the last time they beat West Brom at the Hawthorns, they were in the Premier League. West Brom, it's a difficult one to predict this because, like I said, if someone loses, the team that loses, I don't think they'll get playoffs. I think it's done. Obviously, if Sunderland don't get playoffs, it's still been a brilliant season, for their first season back. West Brom, you'd probably say it's the start of the season, which affected them, having Steve Bruce. I did even say when Luton drew 0-0 at the Hawthorns, I did say they're in a false position. And I'm going to back West Brom to win. being at home, I'm going to go with another 2-1. 2-1 to West Brom in this one. Chris has gone with a 1-1 draw. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. And then moving on to the Monday night game, obviously I will be doing a watch along. My team, Luton Town, take on Middlesbrough. Now, obviously, third versus fourth. Could be a playoff final, potentially. I think it will be, to be honest. Obviously, you know, both teams have got a bit of a gap compared to fifth and that. So, yeah, it's just a matter of who will get third and who will get fourth for me. Because second, I think Sheffield United will wrap it up. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, it's at Kenilworth Road. Luton actually unbeaten against Middlesbrough at home since Luton have been back in the Championship. And the head-to-head record, I didn't actually realise Luton have actually won more times in the head-to-head as well. So that's interesting. It's only 2 more times, but still, you know, I thought Middlesbrough had a bit of a gap. I can't lie. Obviously, when we did play earlier on in the season, Rob Edwards' first game, we did lose that 2-1, but we played all right. We did play all right in that game. I remember it's just the red card was the turning point in that one. And yeah, I'm confident because of, you know, Middlesbrough not beating Luton at Luton since Luton have been in the Championship. You know, that is a reason I'm confident, you know. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, really. How do I see it going? A couple of weeks ago, I'd have probably edged Luton. But now I'm going to go with a draw. But a draw would be better suited for us, I feel, because obviously we are a point above them. And I do think both of us, or more so, well, I think both teams with the games after will probably win their games. Obviously, I'm referring to us and Middlesbrough. But, yeah, I think we've got a good chance of winning the games after that, which means we will confirm third. So I'm going to go with a 1-1. And I think it's going to also be one of them where you'll see more in the playoff final. If this is, of course, the playoff final, who will edge it there? It's going to be one where you're going to see glimpses. And then, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the playoff final and it did go to extra time. Obviously, I wouldn't really want that, of course, but I just wouldn't be shocked because it is difficult to separate both teams. I feel, you know, given how tight one and another have been to each other in this Championship season, you know, especially in the table throughout, you know, most of the season. So, yeah, I'm going to sit on the fence and go over 1-1. But I wouldn't be shocked if Luton edge it. I'm just confident Middlesbrough won't win. Hopefully, this don't age well. But just because we're unbeaten against them at home, you know, since we've been back in the Championship. You know, I remember some memorable games over the years against Middlesbrough as well. When we first come back into the Championship, 3-3. We had a lot of games with them on TV as well. 3-3 last season, 3-1 after being 1-0 down. I was at that game. So yeah, I'm confident that we won't lose. You know, obviously I know last game was not overly great, but it just shows that we're a capable side of, you know, well, we are a good side because we come back in that game, you know. So yeah, I'm going with a 1-1. You know, people still talk about second. No, not for me. Not for me. Sheffield United, like I said, they've got a lot of favourable games at home. So yeah, I'm going with a 1-1. I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. So yeah, that is my prediction for that. So they're all my predictions for game week 44. So let's just wrap through them again. So Birmingham City 2, Blackpool 0, Bristol City 1. Oh my God, what do you mean page on not available? Just work. Been working the whole time. Do you know what I mean? Bristol City 1, Rotherham United 1, Cardiff City 1, Stoke City 0, Coventry City 1, Reading 0, Burnley 4, QPR 0. Oh my God, it's going to keep saying that and wind me up, innit? Hull City 1, Watford 1, Norwich City 2, Swansea City 3, Wigan Athletic 1, Millwall 0, Preston North End 2, Blackburn 1, West Bromwich Albion 2, Sunderland 1, Luton Town 1, Middlesbrough 1. I don't even know if it's going to let me go to the other games at the moment because my thing is freezing and doing its typical nonsense. So yeah, let me try and bear with it a second and see if it wants to work. Oh, there we go. Yep, we're getting somewhere. So yeah, there's 3 games during the midweek that we are going to get into. So obviously the first game was weird actually because there's one of the games is on Thursday, which is the Rotherham versus Cardiff game. But yeah, Blackburn versus Burnley is the first one we're going to get into. Again, another derby. I think the game previously, Burnley absolutely tore them apart. I'm pretty sure it's 3-0 at Turf Moor, if I'm correct. Burnley, I reckon by then they would have won the league. Obviously, like I said, I think they'll win at the weekend. See, they might still, be trying to chase break records and that with the points. Blackburn obviously still trying to, get a play over 1-1 for this one as well. So yeah, your predictions as well from the Luton game as well, and this game. Let me get into them. Chris says 2-1 Middlesbrough. Some Herberts can't accuse me of licking Luton fans' backsides. I give my honest prediction. They're in the game. Yeah, exactly. Luton 1-0 says Hanno, or 2-1. Fair enough. Burnley 2-1 says Chris. Burnley want to then. They'll also want to do that as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to sit on the fence with that one. I'm going to go with a 1-1. Oh my God, what? It's just saying it don't want to respond deliberately, I swear. But yeah, 1-1 in that one. Moving on to the next game. Let me take... this might make it worse, but let me just take my laptop off charge. Is it going to work? Why does it always do it on the championship ones? Notice that I don't do it on any of the others. It's annoying, man. It's like a curse. It's like their website is cursed or something, honestly. Annoying. Oh, dear. I have to bear with me, people, because this is just doing its usual crap. Everyone's saying we'll lose. It's amazing. Yeah, like I said, mate, I'm confident that we won't lose because, like I said, we're unbeaten against them at home since we've been back in the championship. So yeah, I don't even, I don't even think we will draw. I wouldn't be surprised if we nicked it. I just feel it's going to be one where it probably will be the playoff final, and you'll see who will edge it there. That's how I see it, sort of thing. But yeah, moving on to the next game, Sheffield United taking on West Brom. Obviously, this will be after their... Oh, my God. What do you mean not responsive? This will be after their FA Cup fixture against Man City, which I do think they get knocked out to. See, I did do my FA Cup predictions earlier. I'll make sure you do check them out. Taking on West Brom, again, obviously trying to fight for a playoff space. I think they'll win their game against Sunderland. I think they'll just edge it. So yeah, that is that. West Brom at home, like I said, I think they'll wrap up that second place, and I'll back them to win this one, especially being at home. West Brom are very inconsistent away from home, so I'm going to go over 2-1. I'm going to go over 2-1 to Sheffield United in this one. So that is my prediction for that. And then, like I said, the last game, Rotherham United versus Cardiff City. Now, I think both teams will survive. I think that point will be a good point for for Rotherham away at Bristol City because it's a point, safer. Taking on Cardiff, again, I think the start said I think they'll win their game at the weekend. I reckon this one's going to be a draw. I haven't gone with it yet, but I'm going to go with the 0-0. I'm going to go over 0-0 in this one. So, yeah, that is my prediction there. Chris says Sheffield United 2-0 West Brom. Yeah, if I didn't say 2-1, I'd have probably said 2-0 to be fair. And he's gone Rotherham 2-1 against Cardiff. Yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, they are my rescheduled predictions as well. I would calculate the table, but they still haven't took Reading's points off. And Wigan's points as well. I don't think they still took theirs off either. So, yeah, I'll just leave it like that. But my rescheduled predictions as well, just run through them again. Excuse me. Blackburn Rovers 1, Burnley 1, Sheffield United 2, West Bromwich Albion 1, Rotherham United 0, Cardiff City 0. So, yeah, they are my predictions there. Right, I don't need this page now. Let's get rid of this page. It just completely freezes again. It's just typical, isn't it? It is just typical. Right, there we go, people. I'm just going to join on my phone as we wrap this up because we're literally about to wrap it up anyway. But yeah, apologies about that. Like I said, it always likes to do it on the championship predictions. It's a curse, mate. I just don't get it. So use the same website for Premier League predictions. Never does it there. Is what it is, though, I guess. Is what it is. There's not too much I can do about that all the time, is there? But yeah, like I said, this way I'm going to wrap it up. Can't check the like count at the moment, but do make sure you do smash the like button if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Big up to everyone that's tuned in, of course, to this. If you want to follow me across any of my socials, obviously links to them are in the description. And yeah, subscribe to my channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. That would also be much appreciated. And yeah, no more content tonight. Tomorrow, I don't think there'll be anything. And then Sunday, there'll be the Hatter Show in the evening. Potentially Brighton versus Manchester United watch along in the FA Cup, but not too sure yet. If not, there'll be the Hatter Show. And then Monday, Premier League predictions for the rescheduled, not the rescheduled games, the next load of game week games during the week. And then Luton watch along later on in the evening. So that is that. So yeah, big up yourselves, stay safe, take care, and peace.